Hello everyone, welcome to BayernNow, the ultimate Bayern fan channel. Sergino Dest, that's the topic of today. We're talking about Dest again, and the story is coming out from the Dutch lands, and it's basically that Bayern are in talks with Dest, and on a regular basis, Bayern also are planning to lure the player to Munich. According to Dest's entourage, that means his agent, parents, girlfriend, other girlfriend, side hoe. They basically are saying and coming out with signals that he prefers a move to Bayern over Barcelona. What did I tell you? Okay? I told you. Barcelona are broke. They have no money, they have no morals, and they're stupid, and they're very disorganized. While Bayern, on the other hand, it just shows the differences between the two clubs and how well managed we are. We are basically coming out with strong signals that we want to sign Dest. Bayern are constantly linked to Dest, and this is a good sign. Now, hold on, let me use the graphic right here. Now, let's talk about a little bit Dest. Do we still need a right back? A lot of people are like, yeah, Bayern's playing all right. We don't need a right back ever. Well, we do. Dest is only 19 years old. He has a lot to learn. A lot of Ajax fans, though, are confused. They're telling other fans that he's not as good as it. Well, I've seen Dest. I've seen the highlights. Okay, the guy looks saucy. He looks like what I want in that right back position. He looks very attacking, and oddly enough, he's actually decent defensively. Not like he's gonna win all the headers and dominate at the back. He's not gonna be Virgil van Dijk at right back. But what he is gonna be is he's gonna be an overly attacking right back with a little bit of defensive impetus. I think he can actually defend, especially 1v1. He's very quick. I like Dest. I think a lot of people like Dest. It's just a matter, if Barcelona, like at the end of the day, are linked to him, and so are Bayern, then you have to think to yourself, there has to be something in this guy. Because these clubs, these two clubs that I've just, even Ajax, if Ajax want to keep Dest and Barcelona want him and Bayern want him, the scouts have to have seen something that we fans won't see on the pitch. We might see his errors. So for me, the only thing I'm happy about is Bayern not being predictable like Barcelona. Well, that is true, though. We are not predictable. I mean, that's a good thing and also a bad thing. It could also mean that tomorrow we sign some Semedo. We could. Bayern are also looking into Semedo. That's the story that came out yesterday. That Bayern have Dest and Semedo in their transfer list and short list. That the only reason Bayern want Dest over Semedo is because of the price tag, but because of his age. Dest is younger. Bayern are looking for a younger right back. Now, do we need experience? We're not looking for Thomas Meunier. If we wanted an experienced right back, we would just get Thomas Meunier or someone that's 26 or something like that. We're not looking for experience necessarily in that position. We're looking for youth. Bayern are probably also thinking about the fact that Alphonso Davies, a North American, you Canadians are probably going to be like, he's only Canadian, shut up, he's North American. But an American guy just coming out of nowhere, dominating in the league as he is now, being basically one of the best left backs in the world, a top one left back. There's no other left back that has what Davies has and is as consistent as Alphonso. And what he adds to our team is so much more different. And the way Hansi Flick plays, we weren't linked to Dest. I keep saying this before Hansi Flick came in. We weren't linked to him. We did not necessarily want Dest. I think we were looking at other right backs like Cancelo. Bayern were also looking to loan Cancelo in January. That came out from all these media outlets. We wanted to get a right back that was, proven. But then Hansi Flick comes in. He's starting to play with a certain philosophy, and I think Dest fits into that side. He fits into the formation we play. Because in Ajax, they also play a 4-2-3-1. They press in a similar way we do. If you watch Ajax play, or if you watch them against Juventus and all these other teams, there's a similarity between how Hansi Flick plays and how Ajax play. The pressing is actually really similar. Semedo is proving to be good under Sentien, but we don't need any more old craps. Yeah, that's from you, and you're a Barcelona fan saying that. But the thing is with Dest, though, is like, yes, there's the inexperience there. Semedo, if he came into Bayern, he would definitely add a little bit more impetus and speed of play into us. He has the dribbling ability that Pavard doesn't have, and he could definitely hold that right back position. But Semedo isn't what we're looking for. We're looking for someone younger, someone with less of a grandma status, because for me, Semedo also makes a few errors. he's not that great going forward, but he's very good defensively. I just wouldn't want that. We don't want someone that's too good at one thing that they're not that good at the other. That's not for me. I'm looking for someone that can do one thing, especially in the way we play, and also do the other thing. We play a high line, which means our fullbacks need to be incredibly quick. That's almost a requirement. And then at the same time, we move the ball higher up the pitch into the final third better. So we do need our fullbacks to know, okay, I'm going to need to be almost a right winger or a left winger. That's how Davies sometimes plays. Davies is collecting the ball from the half spaces, literally almost as a left winger sometimes. He's tucking inside at times to be in the midfield and to then leave space for Gnabry or Coman or Perisic. So that's how we're going to play, our fullbacks especially. And I think with that in mind, I think Sergino Dest would fit us. I think he definitely wants to come. I mean, his agent came out and said Sergino Dest has interest coming in from Bayern and Barcelona. But Bayern want Dest the most. They've shown the most interest, and they also just need to negotiate with Ajax. By the way, the transfer window is not open. It's not going to be open in the next month. It's not. It's usually July 1st to August 14th or August 15th. Well, this isn't a normal transfer window if you haven't noticed. You don't get 2 months of a transfer window or a month and a half. No, you just get a few weeks to sort out your business in September. After the Champions League is over and the Europa League. I think that's when the transfer window will actually be open. I'm not exactly sure if that's official, but it looks likely that teams aren't going to be making deals in July when they're playing games. The Premier League is returning in 10 days. La Liga is returning in about 5 days. That's crazy to think about. But you have these different leagues coming. Serie A is back on the 15th, I think. Hey, Google. When is the Serie A return? Well, it just serial return. Okay, Serie A is returning very soon. So I'm looking at it and I think there's just too many leagues have to actually play. Maybe you can look at it and go, oh, the Bundesliga is finished. Yeah, that's Bayern done, but City still have to play their games. City still have a season to finish. Usually the transfer window opens after the season is finished. Despite international tournaments, the transfer window always is open from July 1st to September or August 15th, around that, a month and a half of a transfer window. So the transfer window will be open for maybe 4 weeks, 3 weeks, for a whole month or something in September after October. Wait, so there's January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September. Okay, September, November, December. Can anyone tell me if I'm stupid? Because I think I'm stupid. Well, okay. September, yeah, I was right. The transfer window will be open before the season begins, the next season. The Champions League will be through. There won't. So that's where we're getting this, okay? Yeah, we know that Bayern are interested in Dest, and Bayern could go into negotiations with Ajax. But Bayern Munich are probably like, we don't need to do that just yet. Let's wait. Let's postpone. And that's a smart business move because at the end of the day, Bayern is both a business and a football club. The Bayern Munich badge is a brand. What would you rather have? Would you rather sign Sané today, Dest tomorrow, Havertz tomorrow? Would you rather sign all these players in a matter of a few days? Or would you rather keep postponing? Even if you're Man City, would you rather keep postponing, keeping the attention and interest high in that player? Eventually, you sell them. Eventually, you buy them. So I think it's a business move that we're doing where we're not getting Dest just yet. Let's go to that screen. I'm tired of talking. Yeah, I mean, look, the guy has done it for Ajax for a few seasons now. 2 more wins, that's true. God, Jesus Christ. 8 straight Bundesliga titles in a row. Look, we have to win that CL, don't we? Some people say Havertz shouldn't come this year, but I think it would be perfect if he comes now. If we offload Tolisso, Coutinho is already leaving. There's room in the squad for him to play regularly. Thanks for saying that, because that's what I've been saying, and a lot of people actually know that, but they won't just admit it straight up. We have a lot of room in that squad, especially with the likes of Coutinho and Perisic and Coman, who may play crap. Even Gnabry himself, who may play crap. If we don't have... I think Bayern won't sign Perisic and Havertz, by the way. We'll sign Sané and Havertz if we were to sign them this window. But, I mean, think about it. If you're Kai Havertz, you're probably sitting there like, hey, I've been here for 4 seasons at Leverkusen. I built this machine. I'm 20 years old. I want to go prove myself and start winning stuff and start competing for stuff. If Bayern bring in Kai Havertz and Leroy Sané for next season, what's stopping us from winning the Champions League again if we were to do it this year? What's stopping us? Who would stop Bayern from winning the Champions League twice in a row if we brought Sané and Havertz in? The 2 most in-demand German youngsters, and also ones proven in Europe. Exactly. If you're Kai Havertz, you want to make a move this summer, because if it goes beyond this summer, he might feel like, hey, Bayern don't want me that much. We have Müller, Goretzka, Thiago, and Kimmich. That's good. But you also have Coutinho who's leaving, Perisic who's leaving. How many minutes has Coutinho played this season where you were like, how is he playing these minutes? Well, we, as Bayern, we will have positions in the squad. People are so, I mean, I am this way too. I am so close-minded when it comes to these backups. I'm so close-minded. I never thought Perisic would be playing 40 or starting like 40% of our games or something like that. Something crazy. I never thought Coutinho would be playing more minutes than he did. Well, I did. I thought he'd be starting every game because Müller was actually not liked by Niko Kovac. Müller and Niko Kovac didn't like each other. Müller was going to probably leave in January. He said it in an interview. So with the whole thing, I just feel like if we're going to let Coutinho and Perisic go, we need someone to replace them. And that someone is Sané and Havertz. Havertz replaces Coutinho, Sané replaces Perisic. Sané isn't just going to fall into our starting 11 when he comes in. He's going to get a chance to prove himself. He'll probably take one training session and he'll convince Hansi Flick he should be starting over Coman. That's definitely what's going to happen. But who's also saying Coman's going to be dropped? If Coman's playing better than Gnabry at the time, Gnabry has to come off and Sané comes in. It just has to be about rotation. And who's saying next season this is the exact same morale and squad we'll have? When you bring in a new signing, you're opening rooms for players to be competitive. If Gnabry knows that, hey, I can't get injured, mentally he'll play like a warrior just to keep a spot in the squad. Imagine if you have 4 players who are all hungry as hell to play. It's amazing. Who'll be on the bench, Dest or Pavard? I think Pavard's going to be playing and Dest is going to be on the bench. We're bringing Dest in as a backup right back with potential to be starting. And it depends how Dest develops. If he develops in the next 2 seasons and he becomes a world beater, because I believe he can be, the intelligence and everything, then Dest is going to play. Pavard's 25 years old or something like that. He's already should be close to his prime. That's what we're going to be getting, his prime in the next season. I think that's where we'll see everything Pavard's about. And you wonder, I mean, is Dest just going to fly in? No, he's obviously not, but he's going to play games. It'll give Pavard a rest. It'll also push Pavard harder. Imagine Pavard knowing that, okay, I played out almost every single minute here since I joined. Oh, but Dest is here now, so I have to work harder. I have to play better. And it pushes players to play better, like the Sané, Havertz, and everything kind of thing. These players will play better. Coman did very well against Bayer when we played at a left wing, his natural position. Yeah, that's what I was saying. I think Coman's better on that left-hand side. I thought he put in a few good crosses, and we don't hate Coman because he's just crap. We know the guy's talented. We just can't stand the fact that before he gets an injury, he'll play crap, and then he picks up an injury, and he's out for 2 months, and then he comes back, and he picks up another one. That's why we don't rate Coman. We don't think he's crap or as a player. We're frustrated. We're fans. Look, I'm a flip-flop, man. I am. Because my opinions on football changes once every game. Like, they change. I can be saying and sitting here for 20 minutes straight in a game, calling a player crap. He'll score and I'm thinking he's a world-class player. Gnabry, I've been saying it. Before the Spurs... Gnabry only performs in big games. Only when you need Gnabry to perform, he performs. He never does it week in, week out. He was starting to do it after the halftime break that the Bundesliga does in winter. He was starting to perform week in, week out. But then, nope. After this Sirona break, he stopped. I think our footballing opinions can change so quickly. we can think Coman is brilliant for the next week, and then he misses an open goal, and next week we'll be slanting the guy again. We'll be slandering his name. It will constantly happen. So just wait. Next week when Coman misses something, I'll be sitting here with you going, you're trash, sell him now. But then he scored, and then he'll score. And then we're all like, oh, okay, cool. And then maybe you'll get injured, and then you're like, get well soon. And then realizing that, oh, this guy. It is what it is, though. If Dest needs to sit, Pavard would bench him any day. Well, that's assuming. See, that's the thing. That's the kind of comment I don't like. Imagine we had Dest and Pavard. You have two players. Dest is going to be one of the best right backs in the world in the next 2-3 years. The development on him is already superb. It depends. If he comes here and never gets an opportunity in the second team like most of our players are, then I'll be worried. I don't want Dest in the second team. I want him on the bench in the Javi Martinez plays, in the Boateng bench position. I want him on the bench to be a backup for us. The same way I want Lucas Hernandez on the bench if he obviously isn't in top form. I want Dest on the bench. And I think I'm not going to sit here and go, oh, be on that bench. No, he's going to play minutes. He's going to get game time. And for me, Dest has a higher potential than Pavard does. Would have loved Inaka Williams at Bayern. Well, we have a fast attack too. And like I was saying, if you have Sané, you have Gnabry, you have Coman, and you have Havertz, who will all be competing for two positions. Imagine, oh, God, you're getting goals from everywhere. Lewandowski would probably start scoring 40 goals a season as a regular in the next 3 seasons. Think about it. You have Sané creating for you, Gnabry creating for you, Havertz creating for you. These players are going to be hungry as hell for minutes. And then we always talk about how we want to win the Champions League. Well, the thing is with Bayern, we never really had that depth to win the Champions League. It was only Ian Robben and Ribery. If we got an injury to them, Douglas Costa was going to come in? No, he wasn't that good. Who? Coman was going to come in and get injured? He wasn't that freaking superb. But now you're talking about Gnabry, Coman, Havertz, Sané, 3 are world class. Havertz is world class, Sané is world class, Gnabry is world class, and Coman is top class. He's with potential if he's on his day. So you have 4 players here that could genuinely be in the first team if they were at their best level. And I think that's where you get real depth. By the way, let's get to 10 likes on the video. I'm sorry I'm doing this late. I am late. I woke up late. I woke up at 7 a.m. and then I was like, oh, you know what? I'm just going to rest for a few more minutes. And then next thing I know, I'm waking up at 11. That's what my days are sometimes. Sometimes I'm waking up at 6 and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm ready to go for the day. And then next thing I know, it's 10 a.m. So I'm sorry. It is pretty late today, and I apologize. I also had to drop my mother somewhere. So we need to sign Sané and Havertz this summer window. And I think Dest will come in there. You know what? We never really considered this. A lot of deals will take place next January. Yeah. In 6 months, January next year. That's crazy to think about. Deals will be happening. Now, obviously, we're not looking for the Sané deal next January. We're looking for it now. This window, we want it now. We want Sané. We want Sané. We're like that kid screaming, we want Sané. We want Sané. Because here's what's going to happen in the next 2 seasons. The league's going to get extra competitive. Dortmund will want to break that 8 times. I don't think we'll win the league in the next 3 years in a row. There'll be no. I don't even see us, because I think Leipzig, if they keep Julian Nagelsmann and only sell Werner, you don't think Leipzig will want a piece of that cake? You don't think Hertha Berlin will produce some world-class football? Look at Berlin keeping Dortmund at bay the way they did. Berlin should have won that game. They actually created more chances than Dortmund. I thought Berlin were the better team last night against Dortmund. And I'm thinking to myself, you don't think these teams want to get to that level where they can actually beat us? Leverkusen actually played really, really well. They scored first. And I think when fans are back in the stadiums, obviously players don't play as well as they can. You're seeing it. Look at the football we're playing now. You don't play that with 70,000 Germans. God, every mistake, the size. You can hear it as a player. Players say we don't hear sounds. Well, they're the ones also not. They came out and said it's weird playing without fans because they know So I'm saying when fans are back in the stadiums, we'll have a lot more pressure. And I think in the next 2 seasons, we won't win the Bundesliga as much as we won't get 10 in a row. I don't even think next season. I mean, think about it though. Like, needs to start spending. Hertha Berlin, I think, spent the most money this January, and they also have the ambitions to spend more this summer. When this window hits, guess what? The players that people are like, oh, I want that guy. Next thing you know, they end up at Hertha Berlin. Xhaka from Arsenal, very good player, almost ended up at Hertha Berlin. It was literally this close, and then Arsenal, Arteta convinced him to stay because he actually started playing him. Nobody's beating Bayern in the league trophy. Well, we have been beaten before. And when we were beaten by Dortmund in 2011 and 2012, it wasn't because we were crap. It was because Dortmund had this machine going. And they just were more... We drop points a lot. Bayern don't really decide titles. We're just clutch when it matters. That's the difference between Bayern and these other teams. We're clutch when it matters. We don't really take onus at the beginning of the season till the end. Maybe that was under Pep. But that was never really that thing we did. Last season, we lost the title to 2 points. If Dortmund don't drop 9 points, we don't win the title. At this point, we want to lose the league. Bayern will win the Bundesliga for at least 5 more years. Well, that's assumed. No, that you can't predict these things. That's what I'm trying to say. You can't predict league titles. That's not something you can predict. You can predict the Champions League. You can be like, this team will be here, this team will be here based on this, the players they have, the coach they have. You can predict these trophies, these little cup competitions. You can predict how the runs will go. But the thing is, you can't predict the league. Who would have predicted that Niko Kovac, a good prospecting manager, would come in, get us 9 points behind Dortmund by February, and then Dortmund would bottle that title and still keep the same manager? What if Dortmund signed a really good coach? I'm saying someone like a Marco Rose. Imagine Dortmund signed Marco Rose, and instead of Lucien Favre leading Dortmund 9 points ahead, it's Marco Rose. When Dortmund get a proper manager and they retain their best players, when they actually decide, hey, we don't want to let Bayern. If Dortmund did that for the last 8 years, they would have won the title at least 2 times. That's what would have happened. We would probably have a more competitive league in terms of consistency. The thing is, Dortmund aren't consistent. I don't trust Dortmund to give us... That's the thing. We want a tougher league. It's not like any Bayern fan sitting here like, yeah, we love winning. No, we want a tougher league. Why? Because it pushes us to our limits. It makes us better. It takes off that stupid Farmers League word that I hate so much. If you have a more competitive league, you have teams like Dortmund, Leipzig, which is why I'm so hopeful Hertha Berlin can actually... They're putting their money where their mouth is, but with the coach they haven't lost in 10 matches? Well, this was their first loss under their new coach. They've been rolling teams over. Hertha Berlin made Leipzig look like an average team. They should have beat Leipzig. And I'm thinking about these teams, and I'm like, hey, these teams will want to do something. And I don't want us to have a situation where we lose the league because we're crap. I want us to lose the league because the other teams did something better than us. And then that will push us in the other competitions. That will make us automatically be... Oh, imagine, that's what happened. The Premier League in the 2019 or 2018-19 season was the most competitive league in the world. Man City and Liverpool were going at it every week. Liverpool were like 10 points clear, and still, I said, Liverpool were 10 points clear, and I told my friend this. I said, Liverpool will bottle it. And what did they do? They bottled it. They lost to City and twice, actually. They lost to Man City, and they lost and drew a lot of games. It was the same thing. But what happened? Liverpool went on and won the Champions League because they had a competitive league to keep them in check. What Bayern didn't have under Pep. We didn't have it. We haven't had it since Klopp left. There was no one to keep us in check. So what happened was, with our average players, we just won the league. You know, we had declining players. We didn't replace them because we were winning the league. But then when you go to the Champions League, where it's about, how much can you really get up for it? You don't. Havertz fits in our system like a freaking... what's that? I was trying to use this analogy. like a rock fits in a crack. I don't know. He just fits there. Like he's like water for my throat. It's there, and you need it, and it's gonna be there. Havertz and Müller are quite similar, except I think Havertz is more technical. Florian Wirtz, it was an incredible goal. Yeah, the guy's 17 years old, half the age. Manuel Neuer is 34. This kid is 17. He became the youngest Bundesliga scorer ever. Of course, it's against Bayern. Oh my God, these kids just love scoring against us and making it their life's accomplishment. But good for him. And like I was saying, this is what we need, right? Imagine Sane comes into the league. That only strengthens the league. Football is a capitalism game. It is. Look at the way Liverpool came through. Robertson, 8 million. Fabinho, I think they spent 40, 30 million on Fabinho. Van Dijk, 75 million. Alisson, 50, 60 million. Salah, 45 million. Mane, 35 million. Liverpool have built this machine without having to spend $1 billion. Man City, on the other hand, show the differences in how just epitomizes capitalism. The team with the best product, or the team that, or the company, right? That's capitalism, that produces the best product and gives its customers the best experience, wins. And I think when Bayern Munich improve, a team like Hertha Berlin, or a team that has a different philosophy of how to get there, will come through. We'll see a team sign players for 2 million and spend 40 million, and next thing you know, these players are going for 300 million. I don't know. No, I don't think it's Leverkusen. The reason why I know it's going to be Leipzig. Leipzig will win the title in the next 2 seasons. That's a fact. If they keep Julian Nagelsmann, and they will. Leipzig literally have had this thing going for, maybe 15 years? They have had RB Ghana, right? They've simultaneously gotten players through different systems. They had Brazil, RB Leipzig Brazil. They had RB Leipzig New York. Red Bull New York, RB Leipzig New York. Red Bull New York. Red Bull has been building a connection. They had Red Bull Austria, and now they have a Red Bull in Germany. And that Red Bull hasn't really broken financial fair play. They had money, but if you're any owner can create a club and put money into that club. But they didn't buy 100 million signings like the Arabs have. They actually genuinely did smart business. Their recruitment is amazing. In the next 2 years, Leipzig's no faces in FIFA will become some of the best players in the world. I think Leipzig and Julian Nagelsmann will have developed his bigger game tactics. He would have developed his mentality in the team. His team will be playing better football, and I think in the next 2 years we can expect Leipzig to be somewhere bigger than ever. And I think that's the case. And I hope they are, because if Leipzig are better, so are Bayern. We'll be forced to be better. And that's always a positive. That's really, really important. Leipzig are going to be the real threat. Florian Wirtz is Bayern bound. I don't even know who that is. Nico Kovac to Dortmund. Are you serious? We were facing... I didn't know we were playing on Wednesday. I totally forgot about the DFB Pokal. I was thinking that was in July, and then we would get the final on the 4th, and it would be like a mini tournament. Oh, it's still going to just go as normal, huh? Okay, well, I mean, we're doing that watch-along in 3 days. I didn't know. I'm sorry. I forgot about the DFB Pokal. I forgot the trophy existed. I was so focused on the league. But I think we can say it's safe to say we won the league. And congratulations. Well, we won't say it until it's like... I don't know how they're going to do the ceremony. Obviously, if they were doing like a thing, I think they should just hold on to every trophy until fans are allowed in stadiums. And then they can have their mini party. They can have the Marienplatz party, that Marienplatz that Bayern do. Is that a hotel or a place? Well, they have a party where they just present all the trophies, and that's important, right? So we should have it with fans. Fans are so important to how Bayern is. So I don't know why we'd celebrate anything without the fans. So it's really, really important. So, like I said, if anyone's joining late, what's coming out of just the news in general from the Dutch news is that Bayern wants Sergino Dest and are constantly talking to him, and Dest's entourage, his agent, his girlfriends, etc., his hoes, they are saying he prefers a move to Bayern. I mean, that's another thing, prefers a move to Bayern. A lot of freaking people prefer a move to Bayern now. That's it. if people are seeing Leroy Sané goes to Bayern, Havertz goes to Bayern, and they look at how Alaba, players listen to other players. You don't think Alaba is talking with just, and he's probably, I bet you, just, we're talking with Lewandowski might have a group chat where he's in with like some real ballers. You don't think these players are listening to each other? You don't think someone's texting another player? If Mbappe was considering where he was going, you don't think he would text Lewandowski or find Lewandowski's contacts and call him and say, "Hey, I love you. Where do you think?" No, these players talk, man, and that's why so many transfers have been avoided, because a player might come out and say, "Come here" or "Don't go there." I think so many times that happens, and players talk. And I think what's going on behind the scenes is with Alaba coming out and saying, "I'm loving my football here." Players are listening to that. Players are listening. Any news on Havertz? There is no news on Havertz. The news that's been on Havertz is that Bayern was supposedly going to have the meeting with Leverkusen's bosses. That's not been confirmed or denied by any news outlets, which is maybe because it hasn't happened yet, or it has happened and just behind closed doors. But Bayern were supposed to have a meeting. I don't know why Havertz, was he injured, concussion apparently? I don't know what he had. I don't know. That's the best decision he can make. I don't know. Leipzig is not winning jack. Well, you'll see. You'll see. Would you trade Davies for Mbappe? Why would I trade Davies for Mbappe? No, I would not trade Alphonso. Alphonso Davies is, the Mbappe of the left back, full back position right now. There's no fullback in world football that has what Davies has. The pace, the defensive quality, while also having and possessing attacking qualities. Robertson, yeah, he's good. He's just average at everything. Robertson's not that good of a fullback or of a left back. He actually even plays. Robertson's a left winger or left midfielder for his country, Scotland. He's actually not that. He's not as technical. He doesn't get me excited. If Robertson was on the ball, I'm like, yeah, cool, pass it on or make a pass. If Davies is on the ball, I'm like, do what Messi does and just dribble past 5 players and put a cross in. So I would never trade Davies for anyone. I don't know why Havertz didn't play against us. Apparently a little knock. A knock. I don't know. It probably. Davies played so perfectly against Leverkusen. Exactly. The guy was literally hugging him. Bellarabi picked up that's what he'll do though. Davies is going to be the left back for the next generation. Marcelo was the left back for the last generation. This decade, Davies is looking likely to be the left back that people are looking at too. Next thing you know, all left backs will have pace and what Davies has, and people will be like, what? And the technicality. Davies has a touch on him and he can dribble. Marcelo was doing it and people were like, what? Marcelo is good, but Marcelo almost played like a left winger because of how Madrid played. But Davies plays like a left back that's a left winger, and he's fast and he's good at defending. So people are going to be molding someone's teaching their kid right now how to be faster or how to control the ball control the game from left back. And next thing you know, in the next generation, Davies is going to be a very big part in the future of fullbacks in general. Dortmund, in theory, should be title contenders. They shouldn't be title contenders. They should have won the title. Look at this season too. This is just the epiphany of how the mentality. It's not a German mentality. For me, it's a Dortmund mentality. It's not. It's because a German mentality wouldn't win a World Cup, win a bunch of Euros the way they have. It's not German. It's Dortmund. It's the city of Dortmund. I don't know. When you have I think it's the city. We always have the analogy that Dortmund are the working class people and Bayern are the more, I'd say, conservative people in Germany. Not conservative like political belief wise, but they're reserved, just calmer. They're more, yeah, you know what I mean? Bayern, yeah, just think about Oliver Kahn on the pitch versus a Marco Reus. Kahn is a leader on the pitch. He's demanding. He wants everything. He lost the Champions League final and led his team to a Champions League final again and won it in 2001. Kahn is the epiphany of just that German Bavarian energy. Müller is the same way, that Bavarian German energy. And then you look at Marco Reus. That's an epiphany of What happens with Dortmund? Their mentality is different. Bayern want to win the title every single season. Don't get it twisted. I bet you Bayern's board is like, they're winning the title is a guarantee for every coach. You have to win it here. You have to win it. But Dortmund is like, we want to get second. Look at the director of imagine if Hassan Salamander, Bayern Munich's director of football, when we were 9 points behind Dortmund last season, came out and said, hey, Dortmund have won the title. If he came out and said that, he would not be working at Bayern anymore. He would be sacked. That's the mentality difference. But then Dortmund's director of football just comes out and says the title belongs to Bayern. It's a very different mentality between Bayern and Borussia Dortmund. We have a winner's mentality. That's why people like us. People don't hate Bayern as much as you think they do. They might hate the fact that we succeed, but it's the fact that we want to win. We were in two Champions League finals in 3 years. 2010, 2012, 2013. We won it once. But it's that mentality to keep going and to keep getting in finals. People don't understand the difference between it's a mentality thing. But what I'm seeing with Leipzig is they don't care. They're just like, we want to spoil your party. We want to win. Leipzig are they want to win. They're going to win a few titles. They're going to. It's a fact. We should. I don't think we should buy a second striker necessarily. I think we should just give this people we have. I think we actually have players that can play striker. Gnabry can. If Sane came in, we could play 4-4-2 4-2, with two strikers, or 4-3-2. I don't know. It could happen. Starting to get more views and likes. Remember me when you get famous. Okay. I'll remember Infinity Stones or Shaggy's kidneys. Okay. We should just give Zagsy more time. Yeah, that is true. We should definitely give Zagsy more time. And like I was saying, we do well this year, win the CL. What's stopping us from getting any player we want for the next 10 years? Yeah. When Sane sees that Bayern lift the Champions League, he's gonna be like, damn, I want to join that and lift it too. Havertz will see the same thing. He'll be like, and then it's always nice. What I keep talking about when I say we want more teams to be, that's why I don't want Dortmund to sell Sancho. It's not because Sancho's crap. It's because I know how Sancho's a good player. I just don't want him to go to the wrong team. If Sancho stays at Dortmund, that's a good thing for the league because it adds another exciting player. It adds another reason for a lot of people to tune in. And another thing is, a lot of clubs in the league they're not business oriented. They're all about fans, which is good. It's important to care about your customers, but sometimes you want to learn how to gain more customers. There's a thing in business that don't focus on the little website. How does your website look? How does your logo look? Don't focus on that if you have a business. Focus on customer acquisition. A lot of clubs in the Bundesliga only focus on how do we look. How does our Instagram profile look? They don't focus about customer acquisition. And that's the problem. They don't have ways to acquire a following. And that's a big problem. Bayern have figured it out. We nail it down. We're good with fans while at the same time being good internationally. Let's get to 20 likes, everyone. Thank you all so much for tuning in. This has been an amazing stream. I know I'm late. I am late. It's 12 p.m. right now. And I'm tired. Because I woke up. You know how you sleep and you're tired of sleeping and you wake up and you're still tired? That's what's happening. What is written on the whiteboard behind you? I don't know. Just goals and dreams and that I want to accomplish and just things I want to do on a daily basis. I think I've showed that in a video. No, I didn't show that one. I showed that one, which is just the little things. I do that a lot. And I bet you Bayern Munich have that too. They have a giant board with just the vision of the club for the next 5 years. And that's the thing. I think that we will dominate this next decade. I have it in my heart that we will, because Jurgen Klopp's coming out and saying he doesn't see a team that can beat this Bayern team. A lot of people, Michael Ballack came out and said he doesn't see a team that can beat this Bayern team. A lot of people have this confidence in us that I haven't seen for a long time. Remember when a lot of media used to rip off Thiago? Well, can they do that now? No, because at the time they were ripping off Thiago, he was playing well every single week, but his teammates weren't helping him, and we didn't have the structure around Thiago. Now everyone's playing well. You can't rip off anyone, because if you rip off one person, they're all going to come for your head. And that's the thing. we had a very disorganized squad. Players were all over the place. You saw it in pictures. Players were hanging out with different players. You knew these certain players would be around these certain players. Like Kimmich, Goretzka, Gnabry, Niklas Süle, they're all friends. You can see it in the pictures. They all just, I see Goretzka, Kimmich, Gnabry, Niklas Süle a lot together because they started playing from the youth academies with each other. And then on the other side, I see Lewandowski hanging out with Perisic because they speak. I think Lewo hangs out with. Who is Lewo? Lewo hangs out with. Lewo doesn't even. Muller and Alaba, and Muller Alaba, are very. They usually, I see them a lot together. Davies and Zagzi and Chris Richards. These are the younger kids, so they're gonna hang out around each other. I think that's what happens, and I think our squad is so unified right now, even though, like I was just saying, there's these different groups. Lewo hangs out a lot with... that's another thing. Lewo does hang out with Thiago, and I've seen their kids meet up. No. Thiago hangs out with Coutinho. Well, to be fair, I don't know who Lewandowski hangs out with. The guy is just very... I never really see him with pictures of, hugging Muller or something. I never see that. I just see him scoring bangers in training, but... I mean, I love the fact that there's this dynamic in our squad. It's so cool. Just Kimmich, the younger, 25-year-old, 24-year-olds Germans are all together. The Zulas, the Gnabrys. And then you have Alaba, who's there with Muller a lot because they've known each other the longest in school. And Neuer hangs out with Alaba and also Thiago. Okay, so there's this core group of players. Lewa and Neuer. Lewandowski does hang out around Neuer a lot. I love that. I love this dynamic. Coman hangs out with the French people, the Lucas Hernandezes, the Pavards. You can see the French dynamic there. They probably are speaking French most of the time. Pavard I don't think Pavard's fluent in German. I think he's actually fluent in French. Well, he would know a lot of German, more German than me. Sane would be upgrade of Coman instead, could rotate with Gnabry and Sane. Yeah, Coman and Havertz, like we've been saying, Havertz isn't going to come in and be our number 10 right away. He'll have to be here for a few years or for a year. As Müller starts declining, that's when we start putting in Havertz more. What do you think of Haaland? No, Haaland's... Why? Why do we have to be... Why is it... Haaland's release clause doesn't kick in until 2022. That's 2 more seasons at Dortmund, guaranteed. People thought, oh, Haaland has a 70 million release clause. Well, he's going to renew his contract anyways, before the release clause comes in. Because guess what? Mino Raiola is going to be like, hey, Dortmund, we want to renew his contract. Make Haaland more money. Pay Mino Raiola more money. And then he'll sell him to Real Madrid for 150 million or 180 million, a release clause. Or they're just going to remove the release clause. Dortmund aren't stupid. They know they can make money from Haaland. They're paying him right now. So Dortmund will make a lot of money on Haaland. People think just because there's a 70 million release clause now, Mino Raiola will come to Dortmund and say, we want $300,000 a week. If you don't pay that, we leave now. Or Dortmund will be like, hey, we'll put a 200 million release clause on him. Because at the time, in 2 years, I think players are going to go for 200 million. A lot of players. Because the market will have recovered massively. Clubs will have adapted more ways of making more money. Bayern will be richer. Real Madrid will be richer. Barcelona will be richer. Even though Barcelona broke all the time. And I think players will cost 200 million. And Dortmund will put a 200 million release clause. That's what Dortmund do. They do this so well. They know how to get money from players. Look at Dembele. Dembele was at Dortmund for 2 seasons or a season? He wasn't even there for that long. But Barcelona were like, we want him. And Dortmund were like, yeah, pay us 145 million. And they did. And now Dembele, since joining Barcelona, hasn't done anything for them. Aubameyang. Dortmund had sold a 28-year-old to Arsenal for what? What did they sell Aubameyang for? Like 80 million or something like that? Dortmund know how to do business. And that's the thing. So this Haaland thing isn't going to be as easy as people think. His release clause doesn't kick in until 2022, I think. Yeah, so you can't get Haaland just yet. Haaland's going to be at Dortmund for the next 2 seasons. Yeah, and I don't want Haaland. He's not Lewa. Haaland doesn't have the skill traits of a Bayern striker. Haaland... He's an in-between channel striker. Him and Werner are very similar. I don't want Haaland. He's so one-sided. He scores the same goals and he doesn't link up play very well. He's not that good in the air, even though he's 6'4", very odd to me. I'm not into Haaland as much. I'm more of a fan of a striker like if Firmino was like 22, he would fit us more than Haaland would, because Firmino is more on the intelligence, technical side. Lewandowski is literally one of the most technically gifted strikers that I've seen in the last 5 years. Lewandowski is highly. People don't realize just how technical Lewa is, but he's highly technical. That's why he fits us so well. That's why he's been so good for us. Because not only is he incredibly technical, he scores the goals. Lewa shouldn't be scoring as many goals as he is. If you look at his XG, his expected goals, he's outperforming it. So, yeah. Zegzi easy. Yeah. He's outperforming his XG, which is why I wouldn't... yes, if you look, every season, expected goals is how many chances you get a game versus how many shots you generally are, how well positioned you are in the box, how often do you drop away from the striking position. Expected goals factors all these things in, and then it determines this is how many goals you'll score based on the amount of shots you're able to take, based on this shot conversion rate that you have. And Lewandowski constantly has been outperforming it since he joined us, actually. What do you think of Mikel Cousins? I don't know. I could care less. I'm not really that in. I think we should. I was talking to this guy from Hamburg on Twitter yesterday. By the way, I left Twitter for an entire day and I've never felt better. I just realized how addicted I am to Twitter. But this guy was basically talking about how Adrian Fine needs time to develop and he'll help us. And I was like, dang, I thought he was, the physical CDM we need. I'm thinking with Fine, I think Bayern might even try and loan him out, maybe, and that means Cousins gets an extra year to be the other option for the CDM or center midfield position. So, yeah, I think we have too many options, man. I think that means we need to get rid of Tolisso. If Bayern loan out Adrian Fine for an extra season, I can see Tolisso staying here for an extra year or an extra 6 months, and then he'll leave next January, which would actually benefit us if you think about it, because your teams will be willing to pay more money for him because he has a contract till 2022. Op didn't look good last time. I don't even remember the last time Op played for us. He hasn't played, has he? So I don't know there is Op and Zegzi as the strikers. I think Zegzi's proven himself more to me. I see more of his game than I see Op's. Op hasn't even done well at Hamburg. If you put Zegzi at Hamburg, I guarantee you Zegzi is gonna be a baller at Hamburg. I don't care, he would be. I think we should loan Zegzi. We should have loaned him there was sources coming out that Feyenoord and Ajax wanted him. And I'm like, loan him to Ajax under a great coach like Erik ten Hag. People disrespect ten Hag's name. Not many coaches can do what ten Hag has done at Ajax, and he's done it. You're getting your best players sold every 2 years. At the same time, you're having to be competitive in your league, and you're having to qualify for the Champions League. Ten Hag is a freaking real manager right there. If we didn't get Hansi Flick, or if Hansi Flick didn't succeed, Bayern were going to sign Erik ten Hag. And he would have been, I think ten Hag would have definitely gotten us him and Hansi Flick are very similar. Ironically, they learned under the same coaching systems. I played in preseason against Tottenham and scored a goal. Okay. Sessegnon scored a goal against us in the Champions League. We should definitely sign him. Ten Hag should go to Dortmund. That's a definite position. Why don't Dortmund find a manager like Erik ten Hag at Ajax? Ajax aren't as good as Dortmund, and sign him. Imagine Dortmund in the Champions League semi-finals almost yearly, because guess what? They'll be qualifying for it yearly. They'll be competing for the league. They'll have a more consistent thing about them, and Ten Hag is not a loser, ironic. Ten Hag would have been in the Champions League final if not because of Onana. Andre Onana, well, actually, the Ajax defense. They conceded 3 goals or 2 goals in a matter of a few minutes right there. Imagine if those Ajax kids, inexperienced, Spurs didn't deserve to get past Ajax. If Ajax go to the Champions League final and Liverpool played in that final the way they did against Spurs, Ajax would beat Liverpool. Think about it. Ajax 1-11 had the De Jongs, they had a fantastic defense, goalkeeper, great striker, Van de Beek, etc. They had this never give up attitude about them. Liverpool aren't really that good at performing in finals. They don't. If you look at the 2018 final, I'm surprised Liverpool lost. They didn't win. They were so easily beaten. I think Ten Hag definitely works so well. Favre won't lead Dortmund anywhere. I think he's slowed them down. I mean, they look so bad against Hertha Berlin, and I'm not saying Berlin are a decent team, but he's just, nah. Lucien Favre for me is just not someone I like. I think he's annoying, and he's so 62 years old. Dortmund aren't known for that. They're known for their young manager. I think they should go for someone like a Marco Rose, someone that's doing it at a club that's similar level to Dortmund, but Dortmund are obviously on a higher level and have better players. Royce is 31 years old. What has he really done in his career that much? And I think it's time for Dortmund to go ahead and just move on, get themselves a Marco Rose, who is young. He's 43 years of age. That's very young for a manager. Most managers that are, Hansi Flick's 53, 10 years older than Marco Rose. The guy has this aura about him. He's tall. He can lead a team. He's been in Mönchengladbach for a long time. But yeah, this has been a great show. Thank you everyone so much for tuning in. But yeah, I'll end it right here. Yeah, Mia San Mia and peace.